Welcome to FlyEaglesFly News, where Eagles fans get the latest, fastest, and hottest updates. Hit subscribe and fly high with us. It seems like the sports world has been shaken to its core as whispers of A.J. Brown leaving the Philadelphia Eagles have begun to swirl, and honestly, nobody saw this coming. Fans are in absolute disbelief. Social media is on fire, and the locker room atmosphere is rumored to be tense and uncertain. Sources close to the team hint that the front office has been quietly exploring ways to cut costs, and A.J. Brown, despite being a superstar on the field, suddenly became part of this financial equation. Speculation is running wild about how negotiations unfolded behind closed doors, with insiders suggesting that the Eagles' management weighed the player's massive contract against their long-term fiscal strategy. The team's fans, of course, are reacting passionately, flooding comment sections with outrage and disbelief, while sports pundits debate whether this is a smart business move or a heartbreaking misstep. Rumors hint that Brown's frustration had been simmering for a while, with subtle tensions during training sessions and practice reports suggesting that things were far from harmonious. The combination of financial strategy, player dissatisfaction, and timing seems to have converged into a storm that caught even seasoned analysts off guard, leaving everyone scrambling to piece together the story behind the headlines. Reports indicate that the decision to part ways with A.J. Brown might not have been as sudden as it seems, with whispers suggesting that management had been quietly evaluating roster adjustments for months. Sources hint that there were internal discussions about reallocating salary cap space to address other pressing needs on the roster, particularly in positions that have struggled throughout the season. Brown's performance, however, remains stellar, and there is speculation that the choice was purely financial, rather than based on skill or attitude. Insiders suggest that the coaching staff may have advocated for keeping him, recognizing his ability to change games in critical moments, but ultimately, the business side of football prevailed. Fans, meanwhile, are dissecting every statement from the Eagles' front office, looking for hints of regret, justification, or even an apology, while social media explodes with memes, emotional tributes, and heated debates. Rumors are also circulating that Brown himself might have been aware of the front office's intentions long before the public announcement, and some insiders speculate that this knowledge could have influenced his mindset on and off the field in recent weeks. The combination of player impact, fan sentiment, and internal negotiations creates a narrative that is both complicated and captivating, drawing attention far beyond the usual sports circles, and making this story one of the most talked-about topics in football today. Insiders are now suggesting that the fallout from A.J. Brown's departure could have ripple effects throughout the Eagles organization, impacting not only team morale, but also future recruitment strategies. Some sources speculate that younger players in the roster may feel uncertain about their own contracts, while agents might reconsider negotiating with the Eagles, anticipating a rigid approach to salaries. Rumors circulating in sports circles hint that the front office might be bracing for a backlash from fans, sponsors, and even media pundits, trying to carefully manage the narrative to minimize reputational damage. There's chatter that Brown's exit could even influence upcoming draft decisions, with the team now needing to identify potential replacements who can fill both the on-field role and the leadership vacuum left behind. Social media sentiment, as reported by analysts, shows a spike in both anger and sadness among fans, who feel that the team is prioritizing money over loyalty. Meanwhile, gossip suggests that other teams might be circling, ready to capitalize on the opportunity to acquire a player of Brown's caliber, turning this departure into a high-stakes chess game across the league. This situation, blending strategic calculations with emotional investment, is generating a buzz that feels almost unprecedented in recent memory, and the Eagles organization is rumored to be walking a tightrope as it navigates the fallout from this seismic move. The media landscape is now flooded with speculation, with insiders dropping hints about behind-the-scenes conversations that allegedly took place between A.J. Brown and team executives. Some rumors suggest that Brown tried to negotiate a compromise, perhaps accepting a reduced role or restructuring his contract to remain with the Eagles, but the talks reportedly reached an impasse, with the front office unwilling to meet his expectations. Social media sleuths are poring over every interview, press conference, and cryptic tweet, trying to connect dots and decode hidden messages, fueling a narrative that feels like a real-life drama series. There's chatter that locker room dynamics may have been affected, with teammates possibly divided over the handling of the situation, creating an environment of tension and uncertainty. Experts speculate that this could impact team performance in the upcoming season, as morale and cohesion are critical factors in professional football, especially after losing a player of Brown's caliber. The story continues to evolve, with each passing hour bringing new claims, rebuttals, and leaked information, leaving fans, analysts, and insiders alike in a state of constant speculation, and turning what should have been a routine off-season move into a saga that dominates sports conversation across multiple platforms. Rumors now suggest that the Eagles' decision might have been influenced by pressures beyond just salary considerations, with some sources hinting at strategic maneuvers to create flexibility for future superstar acquisitions. Insiders say that while A.J. Brown's departure is shocking, it could be part of a larger puzzle in the organization's long-term vision, which might involve reallocating resources to strengthen weaker positions or bring in new talent that aligns with the coaching staff's evolving strategy. Analysts speculate that this move could send a message to other players about contract negotiations and team priorities, subtly shaping the roster culture in ways fans may not immediately understand. Gossip in sports circles suggests that Brown's potential next destination is already being quietly discussed, with rival teams positioning themselves to make offers, while agents and consultants weigh the competitive implications. There's buzz about how this decision could affect merchandise sales, ticket sales, and fan loyalty, all elements that intertwine with on-field performance and business strategy. Meanwhile, the broader football community is captivated by the story, debating whether the Eagles have made a savvy business decision or committed a significant misstep, and whether A.J. Brown's career trajectory will flourish or face new challenges in this unexpected chapter. The final whispers in this ongoing saga indicate that A.J. Brown's exit might redefine the Eagles' offseason strategy, and insiders speculate that the organization could pursue aggressive moves in both trades and free agency to fill the void left by their former star. Fans are poring over every piece of information, dissecting official statements, insider leaks, and even subtle cues from coaches and players, all in an effort to piece together a coherent narrative from fragmented rumors. Some speculate that the team's ownership might face intense scrutiny in the coming months, as questions about loyalty, strategy, and transparency linger, while the media continues to amplify every minor detail, turning speculation into headlines. Rumors also suggest that Brown himself could leverage this situation for a lucrative deal elsewhere, with several high-profile franchises reportedly expressing interest in acquiring a player of his skill and notoriety. Meanwhile, debates rage across podcasts, fan forums, and social media platforms, with opinions varying from outrage to understanding, and the story's intrigue continues to grow with every new leak. This swirling cloud of speculation, combined with the emotional weight of the announcement, is creating a perfect storm of sports gossip, and it's clear that A.J. Brown's departure from the Eagles is not just a transaction. It's a narrative that will dominate headlines and conversations for weeks to come, leaving fans, analysts, and insiders eagerly anticipating the next twist in this unfolding drama. The aftermath of A.J. Brown's departure from the Eagles is already sending shockwaves through the league, with whispers suggesting that multiple franchises are quietly preparing their pitches, trying to position themselves as the perfect landing spot for the superstar wide receiver. Insiders claim that teams with salary cap flexibility are circling like sharks, sensing an opportunity to acquire a player who can immediately transform their offensive dynamics. Meanwhile, rumors indicate that Brown himself might be strategically weighing his options, considering not just the financial implications, but also the fit with potential quarterbacks, coaching styles, and team culture. Social media is ablaze with fan speculation, with threads analyzing every possible destination, while sports journalists claim they are hearing snippets of behind-the-scenes talks from agents, executives, and insiders. Some suggest that Brown may prioritize a team with championship potential, while others argue that he might be enticed by long-term security and a prominent leadership role. There's also chatter that the Eagles' decision could inadvertently strengthen a rival, turning a move intended to save money into a gamble that reshapes competitive balance in the conference. The unfolding scenario is creating an atmosphere of anticipation, intrigue, and tension, where every rumor, leak, or subtle statement could shift the narrative, leaving fans, pundits, and insiders on edge, watching closely as the story continues to evolve. FlyEaglesFly News family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments, and let's talk birds. Reports from sports circles now suggest that the Eagles' locker room might be facing an identity crisis in the wake of A.J. Brown's exit, with speculation hinting that team cohesion and morale could be under threat. Sources indicate that some players may feel disillusioned by the front office's approach, interpreting the decision as prioritizing financial calculations over loyalty and camaraderie. This perceived shift in organizational culture might lead to subtle fractures among teammates, whispers in practice sessions, and an unspoken tension during team meetings. Analysts argue that losing a key playmaker like Brown could impact not just offensive strategy, but also the psychological confidence of the roster, potentially affecting performance in high-pressure situations. Rumors suggest that coaches are working overtime to manage the emotional fallout, attempting to reassure players, maintain focus, and instill resilience in a team suddenly navigating a landscape of uncertainty. Fans, meanwhile, are dissecting every piece of coverage, interpreting reactions from players on social media, and speculating on potential replacements, turning the situation into a public drama that blends emotion, strategy, and rumor. This developing narrative has captivated the sports world, with each new report feeding speculation, debates, and theories, making A.J. Brown's departure a story that transcends mere transaction and becomes a multifaceted saga of intrigue, emotion, and anticipation. Speculation is growing that A.J. Brown's next move could redefine the offseason landscape, with insiders hinting at a bidding war among franchises eager to secure a proven superstar. Some whispers suggest that certain teams are offering creative contract structures, performance incentives, and leadership opportunities to entice Brown, creating a scenario where the player's agency is as pivotal as his athletic prowess. Agents are reportedly strategizing carefully, balancing immediate financial gain with long-term career trajectory, while front offices are rumored to be conducting in-depth analyses of how Brown's skills could integrate with their offensive schemes. Meanwhile, social media amplifies every tiny detail as fans dissect potential landing spots, projected matchups, and speculative interviews, turning rumor into a communal narrative. Analysts suggest that Brown's decision may influence wider league dynamics, forcing teams to rethink salary structures, draft priorities, and trade strategies, especially if his new contract sets a precedent. The drama extends beyond the field, influencing merchandise, media coverage, and fan loyalty, making the story not only about football, but about the business, psychology, and culture of the sport. This swirling mixture of speculation, strategic maneuvering, and emotional investment has elevated A.J. Brown's departure into a saga that dominates headlines, fan conversations, and insider chatter, keeping everyone on edge for the next development. Whispers in insider circles also suggest that the Eagles' front office is bracing for public backlash, with speculation hinting that leadership might be preparing a multi-layered communication strategy to manage fan outrage. Sources indicate that statements, interviews, and subtle messaging could be carefully orchestrated to justify the decision, maintain credibility, and control the narrative surrounding A.J. Brown's exit. Rumors suggest that executives may be concerned about the long-term impact on fan engagement, ticket sales, and media perception, particularly given Brown's status as a fan favorite and a key contributor on the field. Analysts speculate that the organization could be attempting to pivot the discussion toward future strategic vision, highlighting potential acquisitions or draft prospects, while minimizing focus on the loss of a star player. Meanwhile, gossip in social media circles hints that former teammates might be weighing in indirectly, offering cryptic messages or emotional tributes, fueling speculation about locker room sentiment. The combination of calculated messaging, player reactions, and fan discourse creates a complex web of rumor, interpretation, and emotion, where every small detail can be magnified into a major talking point. The Eagles are now navigating not only the logistical challenges of roster adjustments, but also the perception challenges of a narrative that has captured national attention, and insiders suggest that every move will be scrutinized intensely in the coming weeks. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.